Hi, everyone. It's just me tonight. Keri's playing hooky, but I've lined up a guest host. She's going to be joining me soon, and later on, we're going to be joined by Robb Smith from Alley Cat Deliveries. You know, going to the bar alone is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I still remember the first time I went drinking alone, and it was a big moment. I was in my 20s, and I got married when I was 20. Y'all didn't know that, did you? But I did. I married my high school boyfriend, got married at 20, had a kid at 21, and we did not stay together. Newsflash. So I would think I was 22, 23, and found myself single. And, through encouragement of friends, I found myself just needing to get out. And, you only have your days and nights off to yourself when your baby daddy is helping, or grandma and mama and all those supporters. So you just had to muster up. The first time I did anything by myself, I actually went to Portfolio Coffee House. And I just went there and had a coffee and sat, and I don't know if I took a book or something, but it was a big step. And then flash forward a few years later, there was a band playing at the Viper Room up in Hollywood that I really wanted to see. And I decided to go to a midnight show all by myself at the Viper Room. And wouldn't you know, I saw two people there from Long Beach that I already knew. Shout out to John Faulkner. I saw him there, and I can't remember who else the other person was, but it was pretty cool to, and comforting. I don't think I really hung out with them. It was kind of like one of those, hey, hi, don't I know you? But it really helped me through my whole adult life, and I've never really been too shy. I'm shy about some things, but generally just talking to strangers just comes naturally. So that was easy, and it was a big hurdle. Do you guys ever go drinking alone? These days it's so much easier. I feel like I drink more now that I'm older than I did in my 20s. Is that crazy? I really did not party that as hard as I do these days. Not that I party hard, but wine is it seems like a nightly thing anymore. And now so many wine bars, including Eleanor, 4th Street Vine, Art Divan, the places I like to go. It's the servers, everyone else that's hanging out there. So you're never really alone. You just go in, and Barbara says she doesn't drink. What a big lie. Hi, Ryan. Good to see you. So Keri, like I said, she's playing hooky, and I invited a really old friend. And I mean, she's old, not that we're old friends. I'm kidding. We're old friends. So I'm going to bring on my friend, Michelle. Here we go. Hi.
Hey, Heather. How's it going?
Good. How are you? Did we switch haircuts or what? Or hair color? What's going on?
This is my natural color, so I just decided to let it grow out during COVID. So here's where we're at now.
I still have not done my home color kit from Keri. I'm so sorry, Keri. I'm just been lazy. So hat. What happens under the hat stays under the hat.
Exactly.
I don't, maybe I'll tip my hat to you guys later. So last week we actually were going to have you on as a guest bartender, because you and I have been talking about, years ago when, handcrafted cocktails were kind of all the rage, you really dove deep and became quite the mixologist. And I've been privy to a lot of your great drinks. So I thought it would be really fun to have someone, join us every week with a special cocktail. You made us a cocktail. I came in safely, social distantly picked it up. Keri had some, I had some, you were lined up, and we just could not get the signal to work. Yeah. So
we couldn't get the audio to work for whatever reason. So yeah, no, that was fun. I was all set up. I had the whole bar ready to go. I had, all the alcohol and everything set up kind of like, you see on YouTube with the really professional cocktailians there. And I was all ready to go. I couldn't make it work, but we'll do it another time. But what I made was a raspberry gimlet. So I usually have frozen raspberries in my freezer and frozen mixed berries in my freezer. And I almost always have gin, gin, bourbon, sometimes some vodka, just sort of the base cocktails around rum, and then lemons and limes. So with all those things and some bitters and maybe a little bit of bubbly, there's just a ton of drinks that you can make with those. So I was trying to make something that was colorful, so it showed up really nicely on your show. So I decided to do a raspberry simple syrup, which was super easy. It's just, half a cup of sugar and half a cup of water for 1 minute in the microwave. And then I poured all that into a blender with a cup of raspberries, and I had raspberry simple syrup. I strained out the seeds so that you wouldn't have those in your drink. And then it was just lime and gin and shake. Boom, there you go. So
it was delicious, and I felt really great after I finished it. It was like perfect. What were you telling me about vermouth when I was picking up the cocktail? Because we were talking about different drinks we could make, and I was like, I don't even like. Michelle, do you want to see how I make a drink?
Yeah.
This is how I make a drink.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Someone else made it. That's how I make a drink.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I most of the time I go to the trouble just because I really enjoy doing it, and I really like the taste of fresh fruit in my, like either citrus or frozen stuff. But vermouth is one of those things that people think you can just sort of keep on the shelf. You can't. You probably at the most have 3 weeks from a bottle of good vermouth. And the other thing is I don't like bad vermouth is like drinking bad wine. So if you're going to make a really lovely Negroni, or you're going to make a Manhattan or something, you do not want, the cheap stuff. So it's kind of like when you buy a bottle of vermouth, you kind of have to use it in 3 weeks or lose it. So I put one of those vacuum vins in them, the thing that sucks all the air out, and I put it in the fridge, keep it in the fridge. And that helps too, because you're usually making cold drinks with vermouth. So Dolan is sort of my favorite. But just remember, vermouth is just not something you can keep around too long, because it's a fortified wine, so it lasts longer, but it definitely doesn't last more than way less than a month. Let's put it that way.
And tell everybody how long we've known each other.
Well, I met Heather Kern when I had a car. I was 16 and a half.
What kind of car? Was a Bug?
It was a 1970 light blue Volkswagen Bug. And
you know why I remember the car so vividly?
Why?
Because
my stereo?
Yeah, and we used to go driving around quite a bit.
Yeah, I would play Judas Priest, and you hated that music. I hated new wave, and you hated metal. And I had these cheap speakers, so the sound was really bad. And I'd be blasting it in the back, and you're like, "Can you turn it off?" And you're 2 years younger than me, so this like junior high school kid is telling me to turn down music. But we were such a great team. I just put up with it. I was like, okay, buddy, we really worked well. You were the one who knew where all the parties were. I mean,
I don't know. You knew all the parties. And one thing that I did with you that I don't even know if we've really talked about, but we both went to Wilson High School. And way back when we were there were off-campus illegal college-style sororities and fraternities.
Yep.
And there was a lot of like 1950s kind of qualities about the school, including what happened on homecoming night, the night before homecoming. So I remember that I went out with you that night before homecoming to do something that I will never forget. It was pure magic. And I think they stopped doing it after that night.
They did.
So tell everyone what it was, because it was the coolest thing ever. And like, if you're from Long Beach, you understand the drumming thing. I don't even need to explain it.
Yeah. So, at the time, maybe still so, Wilson High School had by far the best drum section in Long Beach. And, back then our entire, everything was Long Beach, and mostly hyper local Long Beach. We didn't know really what was going on too much outside. We didn't have social media. We were really limited. So we did this thing. This is back in the Mr. Sandberg days. He was at Wilson for 40 years or something. They named the auditorium after him. So we did this thing called Serenading, which he looked the other way on. But the night before homecoming, the whole band, or anybody who was allowed to go, and for whatever reason, my mother said yes and your mom said yes.
Oh no, I snuck out.
Oh, you did? Oh, I don't remember that. Okay. All right. So we got in. So everybody goes to we went to a party that was on Park. I remember the party was on Park.
I still remember the house.
Yeah, it was between 4th and like Colorado or something.
I remember going to a house on Broadway, right off of Park. It was on the hill a little bit.
Okay. Well, we went to a party, but then we went to house after house.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we would go to teachers' homes to do the serenading. So anyway, we that night was truly one of the most magical nights of my life. I don't know why everything just was firing. I mean, we were drinking and we were stoned, but we weren't too.
You were.
We were. Well, I was. Everybody, but you were, and you were allowed to drink, which is funny. So, we just, it was just pure magic. Everybody would bring their instruments and play, a couple songs for the teacher that we went to serenade at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And then
in the middle of the street.
So
there's like full drums, like in the Christmas parade. Dun, da, dun, dun, da, dun, dun, da, dun, dun, da, dun, 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 dun. And then like the police would come and everyone would scurry and it was on to the next house.
Yeah, we got out of there before I'm sure the police were called, but we got out of there just before they arrived. And it was fast. Everybody was in their car. And that was the thing, is all these high school kids jumping into their cars. So they're like 16, 17-year-olds in their cars and off to the next house. And we did that. We did it all night. And it was just so fantastic. And
so here's the thing. I snuck out that night and I had a really liberal mom.
Yeah, you did.
I was always really responsible. And so she was never worried about me. I was not going to put myself, I mean, I'm sure I did put myself in some precarious positions, but generally I was like if we broke into someone's pool at night, I was the one going, you guys, be quiet. We're going to get kicked out. I don't think I was the Debbie Downer, but I was like very aware of what was going on. And, but I did sneak out that night. Thankfully, I got to experience that. And then the next day she was like, well, you're going to school. So I went to school and it was homecoming festival at Wilson.
Yes.
And I was just up the street at Jefferson. And you know what I did? I walked out the front door of Jefferson and walked over to Wilson and onto campus. I mean,
that could never happen now.
Who does that also?
It was awesome.
I had so many older friends and I was really lucky that I had you and other older friends like Adrian that I could just like go onto campus and find people I knew. Yeah. You guys should have been like, who is this fucking annoying junior high schooler? I'm sorry, junior high, not middle school. There was no junior, no middle school. But, I couldn't believe how it was just so fun. Do you remember they always had, I think, like Togos or something, like big subways and
Yep.
I don't know. That was my punishment, was that she made me go to school and then I left school.
It was just a time when you could get away with so much more than you can get away with now. All the campuses now have gates all the way around them. You have to check in with an ID to get in the front. You have to have a reason. And those days you could just slip in, most of the gates are closed, but there were gates that you could slip right into. And people, especially if there's a carnival, it would have been impossible for them to really seek you out and get you out of there.
Yeah. Plus, later on, speaking of gates being closed and everything, they've had to do all these things. If on the Park side of 10th and Park, on that side of Wilson, when we go to lunch, we used to slip through, you'd go through the arches. There's like a crevice.
Yeah.
I mean, like the smallest thing, I can't believe I could fit through there. And we would shimmy through there just to go out to lunch. I don't know. And then
they let us out.
Go ahead.
Well, when I was there, you still had to have a lunch pass, but they never checked it. So I think I got a lunch pass, but
this was like if we didn't have a lunch pass, it was like there was someone at the gate with lunch passes and behind them we were sneaking out.
Right. Right. Oh my God. So great.
And that was also like back in the day when there was like, we had full on pledging, like Dazed and Confused, like college style sorority fraternity pledging. The frats would go streaking, and we would get gooped and all the eggs put on us. And there was keggers and there was like street painting at night. So like if you were in a football or cheerleader or in one of these sororities, you might get painting in front of your house right on the street. And then the whole parking lot at the school was covered in that.
Yeah. It was a really good time. I mean, I have very fond memories of high school. You know, I mean, there's stuff that wasn't so great, but I have mostly fond memories of Wilson.
Yeah.
It was, I had sort of figured out, all the bullying that went on, towards me kind of happened in elementary school. And so, I mean, there's always something, but by the time I got to middle school, it subsided a lot. And then in high school, it was just a few like jerky guys that said stuff to me. But other than that, high school is just a great place. And you know what? I felt good about high school. I was doing well, and I was in the, as much as marching band might be a joke to some people, I was a musician. I cared about my flute. I cared about my piano, and I didn't really care what anybody else thought about it.
Just one time at band camp.
Yeah, I went to band camp too in ninth grade. So, all those you and I went to so many parties, and we knew everybody. And most people were really nice to us. We may not be like in the crew, but we were always nobody ever rejected us at the door. And that was our fear every time, like we weren't invited and like we're trying to get in. And nobody ever said no to us. We always got in. Always.
One time I remember there was a toga party on Miramar between Vista and 3rd. I don't know who I was with, but I just remember this part. We went to go to the toga party and they wouldn't let us in because we didn't have a toga. So we went on a scavenger hunt at 8, 9 o'clock at night or whatever up the street. Knock, knock. Hi. We're on a scavenger hunt. We're looking for old sheets. And we did it.
Was I with you?
I don't know who was with me. Okay. I just remember that. It was just a totally different time.
Yeah, I remember it too.
And then years later, we worked together at the Shore House Cafe. You got me that job. And that was like a whole other like Long Beach institution thing that was just great. Maria says that was before high school. Well, it all bleeds together because I was hanging out with you guys, like with you and Adrian and older friends. So I was going to high school parties maybe, but I was in junior high.
When I was in ninth grade, you were in 8th grade.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, those days were just so fantastic. I mean, I really miss the innocence of that time, and all that partying. I know you didn't party as much as me, but all that partying that I did, when I got to college, there were so many people that had never been released from the house, and so they were getting drunk and throwing up all over the dorm. And I'm like, this is old hat, man. This is nothing. Like, I can't believe this is the first time you ever got out of the house, and it's from one extreme to the other. We got a good lesson. Long Beach is not a big city, but it's definitely a city. It's not some small town, although it feels like that a lot of times. But, we had a lot of opportunity to learn some of the ropes early on. And I think life was a little bit simpler for us back then. The social media aspect really adds a lot of
I can't even imagine like the drive-bys that we would do of exes, the calling and hanging up. I mean, that's fun. I thought things were bad when caller ID became a thing, but now it's like, can you imagine like just having you break up with someone or someone's bullying you or whatever, and it's just all here constantly.
Yeah.
You just can't get away. But it's their normal. So,
It's very rough. I mean, as a former school counselor, I can tell you that the online bullying is really a rough show because it comes and lots of kids jump in and it comes and it comes and it comes. But, if you survive that stuff, you might have, maybe some high level skills that we don't have, just the ability to dismiss or reject or ignore things that are coming your way, definitely there's going to be a whole different generation, generations to come are going to have a whole different look on socializing than we do.
Well, speaking of survivor skills, I want to bring on our guest, Mr. Robb Smith. He is the founder, man, like the whole operation of Alley Cat Deliveries. And he's got a great story about how we kind of met and how we worked together. And then I introduced him to you during this whole COVID thing. So you already know him. So let's bring on Robb. Hi, Robb.
Hi, Robb.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys. How are you? Hi, how are you, Michelle?
Good.
Fine, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm glad to get home and have a drink.
Let me try to do this. You're glad to get home and have a drink?
Cheers. Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for meeting me for a drink.
Thank you for making me have one.
Oh, you need this as an excuse.
I know. I drink every day. Yeah. So where do you want me to start?
I don't know. Just what have you been up to? Like, I mean, how did you get started? How did you go from Postmates to Alley Cat Delivery?
So back then, I would be riding downtown on a little BMX bike, and I would sit in front of Maid, because Chipotle, Johnny Rockets, 123 Pho, Doghouse was all that. Like, I felt if I was sitting there, I would get pinged faster because I was already there. Like, in my mind, that's how it worked, but it doesn't. And so I would sit there waiting for an order, and I would be there every day, rain, sun, wind, whenever, I'd be there. And Heather comes out. I was like, "Oh, what's your name?" You know, because I'm just sitting in the chair all day, or I'd browse the store waiting for something to ping on my phone. I said, "Oh, I'm Robert Smith." Oh, like the
You know what, Robb? I don't think that that's true. I think that's an experience you had with Michelle.
Michelle said I was for the Cure, but I get that all the time, so I think everybody says it anyway. So I said, "I'm like the Cure."
I would started seeing you. You'd hang out in front of the store, and then you'd kind of smile at me, and then I'd go. Is your Facebook volume on? I'm getting feedback.
I know, that's what I'm hearing. I get a lot of feedback, but I don't know where it's coming from. Everything's
Make sure your Facebook is not open.
No, everything's off on my phone.
All right, well then you talk, because it's my voice that's making that weird sound.
Yeah. So I would sit there. I was introduced myself to Heather and vice versa, and then a few days went by. I met Michelle. She asked me to do the delivery. It was literally around the corner. She could have walked and did it, but she wanted me to do it, and I dropped it off. And as time went on, there's like little projects. Can you paint the wall? Anything and everything I could do just to make a buck to pay our rent. And so we established a relationship with Maid. And then Michelle said, "Why don't you start doing this for yourself?" I said, "Yeah, that makes sense." So she's like mentored me to do this. Eleanor was my second account. Our bar was my first, but that's how that coincided. We sat down with Michelle, remember, I think Lauren too, and got that account. But then it just, with this whole COVID thing, it just really took off. We lost a lot of restaurants on Pine. We lost a lot of people and food. So I was like, how can I stay afloat? How can I still make money? So I switched over to grocery shopping, and then that just took off from there. So it's been pretty crazy and chaotic, but it's good.
Yeah, but you've also you've helped my son move. You helped my dad move. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll kind of do it.
Little odd job.
Honestly, you'll do
whatever
anything.
you needed me to do, the shit work or the good work, I said, let me do it. Just give it to me. Even if I didn't know how to do it, I would pretend I know how to do it, and then sometimes fuck it up in the process, but I did it.
Yeah. So what's it been like?
60 seconds it. Pardon me?
So what's it been like with during this COVID time and all the different people you've helped? What are some of the experiences you've had?
I think it's, for the most word I could think of during when I think about this whole pandemic and Alley Cat, is I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for the support of you guys saying, "Hey Rob, I need groceries, or I need food, or can you bring me vegan food and some wine from the liquor store?" I'm not going to mention any names, but she has a pink wig on. And
This way, that way.
I just feel thankful for my community, thankful for just the support, because it really means a lot to me, and it's made me come from being homeless to giving back to those who now need help. I'm not a millionaire or a thousandaire, not even a hundredaire, but I know what it's like not to have anything. And that's been my whole mission statement since the beginning. Like, I just want people to get what they want, and I want everyone to eat. And that's what I've really prided myself on. It's not about the money to me, it's more about the relationship and rapport.
Yeah, I think most jobs are, I mean, hopefully most of our work is like that. I know working in the store and the bar is like that. I mean, it's a job, but having all the interactions with everybody and all the regulars you meet and the people you work with, it's a whole different, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it is work, but it's very gratifying.
Yes, I even remember taking the small jobs to watch the door. Remember, you would say, "Rob, I need a door guy for tonight," and I would do the door at Eleanor, or just even helping build Eleanor, the tiling and the painting, resurfacing the pool table. So yeah, I've had my hands in a lot of things thanks to you guys.
You know what I think really works for me, the way you do your deliveries, is that you call. It's just so simple. You call, and then I would call, and then I would say, I want this from this restaurant, and you do all the ordering. You pay for it, and then you send me a Venmo for what it costs plus $5, right?
Yeah, plus, like, can you imagine how much easier it is than going into the store and looking up the menu? You know what you want.
Right. And then, if there's any questions, you call and say, hey, do you want this, you want that? And then you send the Venmo for whatever the cost of the bill is plus $5. And then the person has the option to, tip you on the Venmo or give you cash when you show up or whatever. And I think it makes it so easy because it's one phone call, one Venmo transaction, and then you show up at the door. And I think, for at least for me, I really don't like all the steps it takes anyway to do, sort of the Postmates and all that stuff. And also, I've been bothered from the beginning about all those fees that they charge me. I knew that they probably charged, the restaurant ridiculous fees as well. And you know what? They gave us all an idea. So we should thank them for what we paid Postmates and Uber Eats and, Instacart and all those dummies. Great. Thanks. You figured it all out for us. And you know what? We're going to do it better, and we're going to do it local. And that's what I really like about the way you do it. Plus, you're super enthusiastic and you're kind. And it does seem like the job is more fun than the money that comes your way. And that takes a little bit of pressure off of, the transaction.
So how I think of it is it's a more personalized service. It's a more one-to-one interaction than just going into an app. It's a blessing and a curse because I believe having an app, you can know where Rob's at, you can know a time wait, but at the same time, I can't generate that revenue yet to make an app. But I like the personalized old school level where you're like, okay, I'm gonna text Rob. Hey Rob, are you available? Can I get in and out right now to double double? Hey, guess what? You're gonna get a double double and it's gonna be hot and fresh. There's no up fees. I built this a year ago, and the first person I went to, which was hatched at Made, was Lori Gray from Pie Bar. And she was the first one to tell me that they're taking 30% of my sales. And I'm like, wow, fuck. You got to pay someone to make your pie. You have to pay for your release. You have to pay for the ingredients. Where's your profit?
Yeah.
So from the very beginning, I knew what they were doing. 35 to 40, even 40%. Yelp owns Grubhub. Postmates, everyone's getting rich except for the driver or the person delivering your food. And it's not profitable for anybody. So I built this to be profitable and I say this all the time, it's a win-win for everybody. It's $5 for a food delivery, groceries $20, and it's not hurting the small business.
Agreed.
And now in the pandemic, people realize with the price gouging, Instacart is charging your salmon is $14.99. Guess what? It's now $17.99 plus the delivery fee, plus the tax, plus this, plus that. It's stupid. I say, hey, I'm Rob. It's $20. Gratuity is optional. Wink, wink. But that's it.
Yeah.
And it just blows my mind that it's raping the small business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's all come to light, in these last, that I think that someday we'll look back at this time and we'll be able to really evaluate, you know, how much it improved our lives to have a lot of this kind of knowledge. Everyone's had to slow down. There's just been, except for the few amount of people that really are working all the way through this, maybe like the grocers and alcohol sales and all those kinds of unique businesses. I would say that we've had a lot of time to reflect, which will continue as this happens. And for instance, Alley Cat, here's an opportunity to just pay some guy straight up to his face, here's the money, as opposed to it going through something. And I would imagine that the businesses that you show up to and pick up the food really appreciate that you exist, because they're not paying now on that bill. They're not paying somebody for it. You're picking it up and giving them the full boat, and that's nice. That's nice for them.
Yes, it is nice. And it's, hey, guess what? Rob's coming to my door. It's not a stranger. We use the protective guidelines. Every day, everything's changing. So I'm up to date with what our mayor is saying, what our city is saying. But you know who's coming to your door. You know that, hey, Rob's coming. I did hire someone, a 17-year-old girl named Tia, to help me out because it's getting a lot right now. But just knowing where your money's going to, yes, to a small local business who has 2 kids, but also I was down and out. I slept in a car, basement, friends' couches for 4 months while fighting for custody for my kids and building this business. I know what it's like not to have ends meet.
Yeah.
So with the little that I do have overflow, you give me $20, 10% of that is going back into the community. I'm doing sack lunches with Crystal Ortiz. I'm helping families have shoes and socks. I was there, and it's not just homeless, veterans, and elderly. I'm doing it all. But the people that need to eat, it's no question in my heart and my mind, I have to give back. Because Long Beach Coffee and Tea made Eleanor had my back when I didn't know where I was going to go the next day. And it really does bring tears to my eyes because now it's my chance to give back. Now here's Rob to help when they helped me. And it's more deeper than just, call Alley Cat. I'm here to help our community who helped me. We got our place that I'm sitting in right now a week before Christmas. And that week before Christmas, before the kids went on spring break, my kids are in Redondo. I'm in Long Beach. And we slept in the car, and I'd wake up almost every hour, turn the heater on, and I was crying. I was like, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, never again will we be put in this position.
Yeah.
As long as I have food in the fridge and rent, I'm gonna help, and that's where my heart is. I want to help. That's where your money goes when you choose Alley Cat and a small local business. Postmates isn't doing that. Grubhub's not doing that. They're racking up the prices and price gouging everything.
Okay,
you want to know what really pissed me off? I go to Costco, and elderly gets in early, right? That doesn't piss me off. But guess who's in front of the elderly? Instacart. I was able to go into Costco at 6 a.m. to get their needs and necessities and screw everyone else.
I know, but the real question, though, is has anybody showed up at their door naked? I mean, that's really what I would like to know.
Ah!
What's the most inappropriate thing you've dealt with so far as a?
Yeah, we don't want to. This is getting too serious, Rob.
Yeah,
I feel like a loser. I mean, like I need to reevaluate my life. I'm not like
Biggest thing. Oh, this is bad.
Okay, we're ready. Let's do this.
Okay, so someone told me to get their coffee every day, and so I'm like, okay, but then it turned into a grocery order where it's like crazy things like I want Lysol wipes, I want this and that, but that's like a unicorn in today to get Lysol wipes or Lysol.
Yeah.
And I got a tongue lashing for not having those items. It's like asking for toilet paper when this first thing happened. Like toilet paper is slowly coming back to its natural habitat right now.
Right.
But it's like you can't fault me for the shit they don't have. Like I'm doing my best. And even if they don't have it, I go to 3 other stores, and don't pass it on to the customer. I'm just trying to get you what you need. But I got my ass chewed out for not having Lysol wipes. Was the craziest thing.
Well, you know what? Damn it! When there's no Lysol wipes anywhere to be found, you still are responsible for getting them because this is America.
So Rob, have you been asked to get any kind of like adult things?
Yeah.
Well, the sex shop on Pine is closed, so we're in a pandemic for that already.
Oh man, see, that's a tragedy right there. But there is one on Anaheim next to the Good Bar. There's a sex shop. I only know that because I've been waiting in line forever on Cinco de Mayo. So
I just think the most random thing I've been asked to get was just cigarettes and a Mickey's.
That's not weird enough. We need some weirder stuff.
I really think there's got to be something weirder. I really think you're holding. Yeah.
How about like a slip and slide and some baby oil?
Yeah.
No, that was my personal order.
Have you been propositioned by any of the ladies or the gents for your delivery? They want you to deliver extra.
No, not yet. I have a girlfriend, but
You
I haven't
say
been
that like
solicited
you're
any extra tips or anything. You know what I mean?
Well, probably get you some more dollars in your pocket.
I could wear a Magic Mike outfit when I deliver with just a mask.
Now, listen, I'm going to tell you something. You could have a Magic Mike night. You could just do like tonight's Magic Mike, and I'm going to wear this, and I'm guaranteed you're going to get more work. You're going to get more work. Just Magic Mike night. You're in. All the ladies are going to go, oh, I'm down.
What if you just have sexy costumes once a week? Every Friday night, TGIF, you're showing up like as a YMCA, like a cowboy or whatever, like a fireman, like, whatever, something. What's your fantasy delivery?
I like that.
I like
it too. We can do that. Cowboy Fridays.
Yeah. Women know that the more cleavage they show in their job, the more tips they get. So, you could just show a little bit more, something. Go out there, shake what you got, shake your money maker.
Listen, Michelle knows a thing or two. She's a burner.
How's my cleavage?
It's a little reserved, to be honest.
Okay. It's okay. But no, nothing crazy.
Why not? Just get out there and show us what you got.
I'll do it. I'll get a stripper pole put in my car.
Hey, there are trucks with stripper poles on the back. I'm not kidding.
That's funny.
What else have you been doing, Rob? You been doing anything fun?
Not really. Nothing really crazy fun. I'm excited for the things that I have going on in the works. We just partnered up with 123 and that's been pretty fun every day, but no, I haven't really had me time yet.
Well, it's always like that the first year of a business. So, your me time, maybe your me time is Magic Mike night. Maybe.
Listen, Rob, Dan O'Brien says, this is Long Beach. You could dress up for the gay community, Rob. They are here for that.
Now we're talking.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go to Champagne's house and borrow a couple of wigs, and I have short shorts already, and Michael Jude's wardrobe is totally for me.
Oh my God, he has a closet. Trust me, he has got.
I know, we're the same size in Speedos. I know we are.
By the way, now I'm going to call out Dan and Sal. So Dan and Sal have a talk show, Happy Hour with the Beaches, and I think it's on Thursday night. So I think Rob needs to make a delivery, Dan, while you guys are on the air. I'm just saying.
Now we're talking. Okay,
I'll dress up too, Dan. I got you.
Yeah, I think Dan and Dan can definitely give you a little bit of encouragement and advice on what to do next.
Down for that.
I'm down.
You're down.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Business would definitely pick up, Dan says.
All right, let's do it.
So too.
It's a untapped market.
I agree. Yeah, you could just do it on weekends
can
and
do
make it
that.
fun for you. Make it fun for you. Make it fit you, you know, do what makes you feel good. And then you could cater, you know, you cater to our ladies and our gents out there who would like to see you shake your.
Yeah, no, alley cat. You know, we're not talking about what alley we're talking about. You know, we
Right.
go around both.
There's a lot of alleys. There's a lot of red light districts. There's places to go.
There's red hair districts, but that's for sure.
That's funny.
So, Rob, where did you grow up? What city?
I grew up in Hawthorne, California, right by LAX. It's called Del Air. I went to Hawthorne High School, and I moved out here 2.5 years ago. Yeah, after my divorce, I moved out here, and I love it. There's nowhere else I want to be.
Well, Rob, thanks for joining us. It was great to have you tonight. Where can everybody find you?
They could find me on Alley Cat Deliveries on Facebook and Instagram. And then can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
We have partnered today with Fourth Horseman. So we will be taking Fourth Horseman outside of the maritime area to Bixby, to Cal State Long Beach, to the ports, to Signal Hill. So everything will be directed through me. You text me at 310-529-4839. And now we have Fourth Horseman Pizza going to all of Long Beach.
That's that place is very popular.
Yeah, we'll put all the links and the phone number on the description of the video. Rob, congratulations. That's a really big deal. And it's not just a win for you, it's a win for all of the frankly, you're doing more community service work because more people need to have Fourth Horseman Pizza because I love it. What's your favorite pizza? I'm all about the Angel of Death. It's blue cheese, caramelized onions, bacon or vegan sausage. So good.
My favorite pizza is going to be the Wake and Bake. And I have a pizza right here.
That's
not fair, Rob. You should have delivered it first.
I feel like
Come
you're
on.
getting free pizzas.
It's going to be pesto. Hold on.
Yeah, I think Rob's probably getting a lot of free
pesto, chicken, mozzarella. I don't even know what the fuck God's hand is on this pizza, and it's so good. I have it. I have gin and tonic. I'm set for the rest of the night.
You know what? Maybe someday you could come over here, bring a
That's
pizza, and then I will make you cocktails. How about that? We'll sit on the lawn. You bring your girlfriend.
I just need to know what outfit you want me to wear.
Okay, I'll have some preferences.
I mean, honestly, hopefully pretty soon we're going to do this all together and not separate, maybe not grouped together, but maybe at least in the same vicinity /room/bar. That would be awesome. I miss seeing you, Rob.
Yes.
Go ahead. I didn't hear you.
I said, have a great night. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks for helping all my friends. You've served a lot of my friends, and I know every time. So
Bye.
Oh, he's so nice.
What a great story, and he's just such a nice guy. And he's really helped my son when anything that I've needed personally, no questions asked.
He's a giver. He is a helper. He seems to have a real strength with that. And, he doesn't seem to get hurt feelings either, which is like a helper with no hurt feelings is an amazing personality to have. Amazing.
Yeah. Now I feel like I need to do something with my life. I feel I was feeling accomplished before this, but
you already did though. You are the one who delivered. You helped give him the confidence, and you delivered him to. Sometimes I notice I do this at parties. I tend to not be the socializer. I deliver them to the right person they need to talk to, and you do that. you know, you went out there and you talked to him and you got him away from Chipotle or whoever didn't care. And you got him totally hooked up. And
All right. Speaking of this kind of thing about something, I've been told I bring people together. And I have a new title because something hilarious happened on Sunday.
okay, I'm ready.
In fact, you kind of joined, but I did like this Facebook room where you just like, you know, like it's video chatting. It's like Zoom, Facebook. You know, if you're going to do it somewhere else, Facebook wants you to do it in Facebook. Like,
Right.
Like let's offer e-commerce, let's offer Zooming, let's offer Facebook Live. You know, they want to keep you in Facebook. So, and sometimes I've been hitting up my friends, my girlfriends, like, hey, do you want a video chat this morning? Do you guys want to Zoom? And I kept getting rejections. So I was like, oh, what's this Facebook room? I'm just going to put it on Facebook and say, hey, if you're around, join me. And I've been doing that on Sunday morning. I ended up spending, Michelle, you went away. I'll just keep talking. I was on the video chat, the Facebook room from 9 a.m. to almost 1 p.m. It was because people just kept coming in and dropping in. And it was really interesting. It was like Russian roulette video chat. I'm not going to lie, because she's back. So let me add her back in.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
So one of the things that was really funny is someone, you know, a friend from high school was on. And I mean, what are the fucking odds that her ex-boyfriend, her ex-high school boyfriend logged in?
Oh, that's awesome.
She wants to kill me. She wants to kill me. What are the odds? Like, I didn't invite him. It was just because I put like a blanket invite, like anyone who sees this, he's not something, I mean, I love Steven, you know, it was nothing, but I mean, I didn't like, we don't talk very often. We talk at reunions and stuff. So it's just not something I could have ever foreseen.
Are they both single?
No.
Oh,
but it was just, I mean, it was like, as a woman, you feel like the minute, like you can totally relate. Like the minute that happened, I was like, oh my God, you know, can she see, can he see? And look, it's like 30 something years ago, but it still just, like, brings you right back.
Wow, it does. I mean, because that's all the memories you have about that person. So, you know, it's like having a.
Yeah, that's how I.
Did they do okay?
I mean, it was fine.
Okay.
And then you were on later.
Yep, I came on.
That was fine.
I think came on towards the end. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up late that day. I mean, when I see it on your feed, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the mood. I'm gonna go in, because you know you can leave if you want to.
Yeah.
It's like a chat room that's being broadcast to all your friends. But you're also saying anybody who's my friend can join in. So you're taking a risk of who shows up in your chat room.
Maria says I can let you know, because I didn't want to say who it was or anything, but she's commenting to tell you that she was also in her pajamas.
Everybody is like, you know what? I actually one time was on a Zoom and I was
life during COVID.
Long t-shirt and just underwear, but you couldn't really see the underwear. It's just that when I got up, you could see that I wasn't wearing pants. And so nobody saw anything. But the minute that like my thigh grazed the camera view, I mean, it was like a mountain of like, oh my God, what are you? I mean, they're my friends. They're friends of mine. And I'm like, I just am wearing underwear. That's just how it is.
Listen, I was just saying before we went on air that the best part about this whole video chat world is I have like 2 closets worth of clothing that I never wear, because I'm like, I don't like the way they look on me. I don't have the right shoes. But listen, all this video chatting is tits up. It doesn't matter if it looks good down here or what I'm wearing down. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't for you. And sorry, I'm not showing you.
Yeah. Well, I think people have gotten, you know, one thing I've gotten a lot more used to is seeing myself on video, because I'm not really a big fan of, haven't been a fan of trying to, be on videos or be in pictures. No big deal if it happens, but I'm just not into it. And now I have a lot more skills. I mean, I do need the fancy light so that I can get, the better color, better lighting on my face and all that. Sometimes during certain parts of the day, the lighting is perfection. And right now it's just not. But, this has been an incredible learning experience. I've had some of the best meetings, with, I've got a few things in the fire I'm trying to work out, and they're so focused. I'm totally ADD. And when there's a bunch of people in the room, I'm totally spinning. But when you've got 2 or 3 faces in front of you, I'm really able to focus, especially if, the camera's set up properly and I've got a good speaker and it's plugged in and there's no technical issues.
Yeah.
I'm focused. I can really listen to what's happening. And I've loved that. I've loved that aspect of it. I also think a lot of people who, couldn't do their, weren't allowed to do their jobs from home and now are doing their jobs from home. I think a lot of these employers are going to figure out, why am I renting all this commercial space when this person can do everything from home? Maybe they still need a little commercial space. Maybe they need to check in once a week physically, but a lot of people do not need to be home anymore. Be at work anymore. It's changing. And I think that's good for everybody. I think what's going to happen is all this commercial space that goes unused are going to turn into residential. That's just my prediction. I'm always thinking,
I mean, I think that that's something that might change too. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, I think there was some news that came out last week about some companies, silicon, like tech companies that were like, look, they're going to offer work from home forever. Like maybe they're like probably not bringing back. And my dad and my stepmom moved out of the area because she was able to start working from home. And so they didn't have to stay here where rents are really high, and they could get to a smaller community because they were going in and out of a very large building where, they were touching everything with everyone.
Right.
And, so there's a lot of perks.
Well, there's, as an employer, there's a lot of liability to have people. There's a lot of cost to have people on site. Not only the rent, but, the bathrooms and the supplies and the computers and all these things. And then on top of that, now we've got this liability. I contracted something contagious in the office. You wouldn't let me go home. I tried to go home. There could be so many different moving parts to that. And we know that in restaurants, for instance, people still are going to demand, people want to eat out, people want experiences, people want to go to bars. I mean, I cannot wait until the bars open. I mean, when it's legal. Obviously, I don't want to jump the gun, but we need those in-person experiences. We need to meet people we don't know and have random conversations and not be scared. I mean, all those things are going to be so exciting. But as far as people being, driving to work, being there through lunch, taking a lunch and then driving home in the traffic, and all that money that goes into physically being somewhere when that particular job doesn't really require that you have to physically be at a desk in front of a screen, it's going to improve a lot of people's lives, take their driving time down. And,
Mike on the chat here is asking, what do you think about corporate conferences? I mean, I have no experience with corporate life. They already do corporate phone calls. I would think that a lot of companies will reevaluate all the flying that they do. Like, is it really necessary to send a person to another state or another country? Because look, that's a lot of how things spread, right? Is that so many people travel internationally. And I don't know if it's going to be really interesting. And it looks like, based on this weekend, that a lot of people are just fine to go right away back in. But I think that there's a lot of people, there's probably way more people that are not. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, in terms of a conference, I mean, if you're, let's say, for instance, your business is electronic gadgets, you're going to want to see, feel, touch those things. Also, it's an escape, right? I want to go to Vegas. I want to stay in the hotel. I want to.
It's all about networking.
Right. I mean,
there's a lot of drinking and dinners and a lot of things. It's not really what you hear from the guest speaker. I mean, that's great and everything, but it's all, let's face the facts. It's what happens in the lobby.
There's a many, it's multi-pronged going to a conference. And honestly, if you're working from home, you would probably really welcome going to I don't know. If I got a flight to Detroit, believe me, I would be there and checking it out. I'd be excited. That would be really fun. And I really personally think that when things calm down, the airline thing is gonna not be as big of a deal. But any way you slice it, the culture, the world culture has changed in terms of um, physical closeness with people. And that doesn't mean we can't still be close. I still want to go to Foo Fighters and scream and jump on the stage and do all that stuff. I'm still that person. But those things are going to be minimized. I'm not going to be so often in big, well, I would say maybe in terms of work, I would probably be less likely to be around people all the time. The schools are still going to continue on, and they're very archaic. They're going to continue to require every single person to be on campus at all times. Restaurants, they can't, they can minimize some things, but the thing is they want the most business they can get. So they're going to have tables in the street or whatever it takes to get
Right.
their full, capacity. I look forward
And it's
to
not
seeing.
easy, like running takeout and table side, like for the kitchen either. It's like, oh my God, I was like freaking out. Like basically salad bars are gone unless they like staff it with a person that is like now the person that puts it in instead of you. So it seems like a lot of businesses are going to need extra staff for a lot of things, right?
I think we don't even really know how things are going to shift yet.
Yeah.
At first, it's going to look like it's not so great, but I think as things, it's kind of like, everything's got to settle, and that's going to take, I think, months and months for everything to really settle. And they're settling around the world differently or at different paces depending on, the infection rate. So, I look forward to how things change. I thought a lot of things have become clearer for people, things that they maybe thought were there are not there anymore, and things that they didn't think were there are actually there. I don't know. I think a lot of really things have been boiled down into a nice roux,
Well, before you go, because we have to end soon, but I kind of wanted to ask you for a quick summation of what do you think is the future for festivals like Burning Man and all of these, other festivals that are very like involve camping, and it's not just going to see a concert, it's more all inclusive and involved, and people, there's all kinds of things happening, including a lot of touching like yoga and meditation and some of that stuff, you can do apart. But like, look, when you're all feeling good and you're loose and you're taking whatever you're taking.
Yeah. Well, Burning Man's an interesting one because there is, one of the things when you go to your first burn is that it's very much in hugging. Hugging is hugging strangers over and over. And it's very loving. It's really, when you're there, if it sounds strange to you now, it does. When you're there, it's not strange. It just becomes
Right.
Okay. But also at the burn, you're dealing with people wear a lot of masks because of the desert. There's this powdered sugar type of dust. It's lightly brown, but it's as just like powdered sugar. So people are wearing masks all the time.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I see that in all the pictures. People are like, they're not covered here, but they're covered here.
I can tell you on a personal level I was very strict in the beginning. I was following all the rules. And then slowly I started hanging out with maybe 4 or 5 of my friends. And you and I hung out at a distance, and but I have been in homes, with like 3 or 4 people that I trust. And for me, I just am the kind of person that believes that this is going to get better and it's going to go away, because I have to believe that in order to survive. I'm a touchy-feely person. I have to believe that we're going to get better. Now, everybody that I know who's thinking is saying, may I hug you, versus going in for the hug, which is fine. That's totally fine. I really hope that we get back to normal in terms of physical affection. I hope people get over it. But I do think that there is a percentage of the population that it's changed them forever. They are still holding out regardless of what, this county of LA or Orange County is saying is okay now. And, you get to do what you want. But I think those people are the ones who are going to be left behind, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's kind of, it'll be great for it. listen, I'm an only child, and I have like, I'm very outgoing, but I also kind of have boundaries. And so in fact, one of the things I used to tell my son when he was a kid, I would teach him about the bubble. I was like, everyone has personal space. And I would refer to it as the bubble. Like, hey, you're too close to that person.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, personally, I'm kind of looking forward to hopefully some of that. Like maybe I don't have to shake everyone's hand or kiss them or whatever
Yeah.
because people just like, that's their go-to. I mean, I think I'm like huggy when it's the right time. I just don't really like contrived things. So I like organic, authentic,
Yeah, I agree.
like we're talking and I'm feeling very like, and then I want to hug you, right? Like we had a meaningful exchange. I wish I could hug you right now, Michelle, to say goodbye.
I love you so much.
I love you too. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. All right, I want to play a song for us because I waited till the end because I think it's something that Facebook will want to mute. And I hope you don't mind because I love this song. Let's see if I got it. Okay.
Can you hear the ice cream truck go by?
Let's see, can you hear this? All right, thanks everyone. Thank you, Michelle.
Bye, thank you.
Love you
so much.
See you next week.